probably goes into, I guess, glorious purpose. No, it's gonna go into lower, closer, slower, baby. So I should probably explain the tiers really quick before we kind of get into it anymore. So, I Love You 3000 are movies that I personally really like. Like my favorite top tier Marvel movies. Absolutely just the best of the best, in my opinion. All of these are like in my personal opinion, not what I think everyone else would think are the best or would prefer. The second tier is I can watch this all day. So these are really great Marvel movies that I like, but I wouldn't necessarily say are my favorite, but they're definitely up there. The third tier is Glorious Purpose. Now this tier is for good Marvel movies that kind of like push the story of Marvel forward. So they're going to be, rewatchable, good, good movies, but maybe not my favorite. Maybe I'll be like, oh, I have to watch this one, but I'm gonna enjoy it. It's just not a favorite. And then there's Lower, Closer, Slower, Baby. And these are where we have Man and The Wasp. These are going to be Marvel movies that I'm like, okay, it's not a great film. I don't really like it. I have to watch it for the story, but like it's okay. It's like not a great film, but it's not a bad film, and you just kind of like have to watch it for the story. Maybe it's not memorable. I think that's something that I'm going to like say a lot about the Lower, Closer, Slower Babies is I don't even remember what happens. They might be forgettable, might have a bad villain, stuff like that. Then there are the Mewling Quims. Now the Mewling Quims are going to be just my least favorite Marvel movies. Like, bad, right? Not good films, not good characters, not good writing, stuff like that are going to be in the Mewling Quims category. And then the final tier is
Trust My Rage.
Trust My Rage. This tier is just going to be movies that made me angry, and you wouldn't like it when I'm angry. It just got me so tight. I couldn't even enjoy it, So, those are the tiers. Okay. So, we put Ant-Man and the Wasp into Lower, Closer, Slower, Baby, which obviously is a take on Higher, Further, Faster, Baby. Ant-Man and the Wasp, the reason I put it in this category going through all this PTSD, but he just hops right back into the suit, and he's like in Sokovia. Oh, in Sokovia. I'm like, that whole nonsense. And then, oh my gosh, what happens? Like, like Ultron is born, and then Vision, and I literally hated Vision in this movie. I thought he was so annoying. Like, I really didn't like it. Like, it shows how bad it was, because I love Vision now, and I loved him in Infinity War and WandaVision, and he's just such a bad character in this movie, in my opinion. And the whole thing is like it's just super weird. It's a weird movie. Like, I can't even think of like one scene that I like from this movie. Yeah, I don't. This is definitely a Mewling Quim. The villain was bad, like Ultron, like James Spader, like, yeah, I don't know, I didn't like it. Like, Vision just like defeats him so easily. He's like, I could just defeat him. I don't know. I didn't like it. Obviously, it's in Mewling Quims. Okay. Next, we have Thor: The Dark World. Ooh. Now, this is going to be controversial. Ready? Are you guys ready for this? Are you ready for a little controversy? I'm putting Thor: The Dark World, and I can watch this all day. I love this movie. People hate this movie. I love it. You know, it. I'm like thinking about putting it in a lobby though. No, could I? Wait. No. So, Thor: The Dark World. Man, people really hate this movie. I love it. We get more Jane and Thor, which I always really liked, and like they decided not to go, you know, more in depth with, which I think is weird. But we also have Loki and his relationship with Thor, and all of, you know, the consequences he faces after the events of the Avengers, which is like a big deal. You know, he gets thrown in prison, and Frigga dies, and, you know, like, he gets, you know, he's working with his brother again, and he gets the chance of redemption, and they work together. Oh, I love the ending of this movie when they're with the Dark Elves on, oh my god, what's the planet called? Oh, that would be good trivia. What is that planet called in Thor: The Dark World? Like, it's like Spondenheim or something, like some weird Norse thing, but I really like this movie. I like Darcy. I like Jane. I like Thor. I like how the whole team, yeah, it's fun. People really hate this movie, but I think it's more of a character study. You kind of get to go more in depth with Thor and Loki and their relationship, so obviously I like that. Yeah, this is a good one to me. I remember seeing this in theaters, and when Loki dies in this movie, I just weeped, because I thought he was really dead.
daughter.
where he's talking about the red in her ledger, and she's so disturbed by it because it's disturbing, you know. Can you wipe out that much red? But the red in her ledger, her whole character arc is from being this assassin who's killed people, who's killed children, to an Avenger. But then they say, oh, just kidding, she actually didn't actually kill the child or Dreykov. It totally, I don't know, I think it cheapens her character development, and I didn't like that. This movie sucks, in my opinion. I don't like it. It makes me mad because Black Widow had such potential to be, you know, a great standalone film starring Scarlett Johansson. And it was just terrible. So yeah, that makes me mad. It could have been like a sexy spy movie a la James Bond, but they didn't even use her femininity at all, really, in it. And I thought that was a big weakness of this movie, because like Black Widow is like supposed to be sexy and fun and like a spy, and uses it. Like in that one scene in the Avengers where she's being interrogated, like I think that's the perfect scene to show Black Widow. And then I don't know who keeps revving their engine. My goodness, it's like the middle of the night, but sorry. But yeah, okay, trust my rage. But one thing I will say, look at all these posters. They're all exactly the same except for the Black Widow one. So I do like the Black Widow poster. The poster is good. Okay. Next is Captain America, the first Avenger. Okay, that's going into, I can watch this all day. I love this movie. This is a great film. Like, my goodness. People like, this is the quintessential superhero movie. Like, this is our hero. This movie has everything. It is so fun. The villains are great. I mean, they're like not so, like, they're like the quintessential villain, but they're like Nazis in space, kind of, because they have the Tesseract. Oh man, the Tesseract is like built up in this movie. You've got Stanley Tucci in this movie, a musical number. Man, this movie is so good. You've got Howard Stark, Peggy Carter, James Buchanan Barnes. I could watch this movie all day. I could do this all day. I'm just a kid from Brooklyn. Man, this movie is perfect. It sets up his character perfectly. This movie makes you fall in love with Captain America. This perfect movie. I could watch this all day, definitely. Okay, another original. Iron Man. Okay, don't hate me, because I love Iron Man, but personally, I'm gonna put this one in Glorious Purpose. I know, but personally, like, I can't watch this movie all day. I've seen it a lot, but I often skip it in rewatches just because, like, it's the first. I know exactly what happens, and I just, like, don't feel like watching Tony Stark in a cave for, like, 45 minutes as he figures out the Iron Man suit. There are some fun scenes in this. You know, you've got Obadiah Stane. He built it in a cave with a box of scraps, you know. So that's fun. And you have the original Rhodey, and then, you know, like the freezing problem and stuff like that. But yeah, it's not my favorite movie, but I like it, and I go rewatch it. And it's not a bad movie at all in any sense. I mean, it set up the entire MCU, so it has to be good, right? So I would never put it anywhere lower than this tier. But yeah, it's not one of my, like, personal all-time favorites. Okay, Civil War. Okay, Civil War to me is a mewling quim. Is it a mewling quim? Yeah, it's a mewling quim. I don't like this movie. This was another one that was, like, really hyped up, but I find this movie, especially on rewatch, really slow and boring, and, like, very low stakes, especially because you know, like, what's coming. Like, you just, like, I just feel like this movie doesn't have a lot of stakes. It's, like, boring, you know. You're in, it's very political, like, it's kind of like a political drama. distress call. There are civilians. We need help. Which was a cameo by Kenneth Branagh, by the way, who was the director of the first Thor movie. Oh man, until the end when it was like the resolve in the music, it was like da-da, and then Thanos will return, and then the name of the movie being dusted. I saw this movie like 6 times in theaters. Oh man, this movie was everything. And then it's so funny too, like when you get to see the Guardians of the Galaxy meet with the Avengers. That's so fun. And you get to see Thor with oh my gosh, what's his name? I'm forgetting. With Peter Dinklage's character, I'm forgetting the name of him. But then to see Thor take the full force of a dying star, you should have gone for the head, like all of this stuff. You see Captain America running with T'Challa. Oh my goodness, it's amazing. This movie is everything. And then of course you see everyone die, and it was such a meme, it was such a cultural like phenomenon. So yeah, this is one of my all-time favorites, is Infinity War. I love this movie. Okay, next comes Captain Marvel. Okay. Captain Marvel is obviously a Mewling Quim. Captain Marvel is an objectively bad movie. It's bad. It's really poorly written, really poorly edited, and by that I mean I saw an edit of this film, like re-edited by a fan, and it was so much better. Still not like great, but it was so much better. And it just like doesn't make sense. And so you have Carol Danvers who takes the power of the Tesseract and becomes a curry fighter, but like she's not supposed to use her emotion, but then like Skrulls show up and she thinks they're the bad guys, but they're actually the good guys. And like you have youngified Nick Fury, and I hate that CGI youngification of people, like juvenication. Like I hate that. I think it's so creepy and fake, and I don't like it. Yeah, this movie's super weird. Yeah, this is a big fat Mewling Quim. And people think that people don't like it because it was the first female made Marvel movie, but I really don't think that has anything to do with why people don't like it. People don't like it because it's a bad movie, and the writing really didn't help Brie Larson at all. So, yeah. Okay, from one captain to another, we have Captain America, the Winter Soldier. This is definitely I Love You 3000. Captain America, the Winter Soldier is one of, if not, okay, I said this about Infinity War too, and the Avengers. The best Marvel movie ever made. But I think what makes this movie different from the others is that it's a perfect standalone film too, and it has something really important to say. This movie is a perfect, like, spy thriller, government movie. It's also very, action-packed, heartfelt. Man, this movie is perfect. It really has a lot to say about freedom and surveillance and modern government. It takes Captain America and it puts him smack dab in the middle of the US government as it is today, and it shows you exactly what he would do. He would say, this is not freedom, this is fear. And it's so good. Every scene with Cap and Natasha is so good. Chris Evans and Scarlett Johansson have so much chemistry. The Zola scene with the computers, amazing. I am not the one out of time. Oh my goodness, I love it. The elevator scene, which is now iconic. Everything with Bucky. I think this
Is this love? Ooh. I like this.
You mewling quim.